So how are you doing? So in this video, I want to talk about some proverbs in the Bible, and I believe the Bible has some of the most interesting information known to man. And the most interesting bits are scattered all over because there's just so much in it. So I want to talk about wisdom and a couple of proverbs. So the origin of the wisdom books is actually David. No, actually Job. And the book of Job is the first book in the Bible. Then after that we have the Psalm books, which are poetic, and then from the Psalm books we have the proverb books, which are by Solomon. But Solomon is a son of David, and in his books he's writing about the wisdom that his father taught him. So he learned his wisdom and all of that from David and all of these things. But what's interesting to note is that Solomon actually got his wisdom from God directly. So the story of Solomon is an interesting story, and I hope that we can get some time to really get into his story as Solomon, because there's so much stuff in it. But what happened is that in a dream, God came to him, and during this dream, God asked him what he wants. And I believe that this happens to everybody on earth, that at some point God comes to you in a dream, because your dreams are like a map. They're there for your guidance, for your protection, for your awareness, and all of these things. So dreams are very important. What you have as a dream is something that you could have as an aspiration, something that you're working toward. That could be your dream. And you have to hold on to it and live it and be it, breathe it, have it. So what is a dream? So the actual word dream actually has an interesting meaning. Well, it means the visions or the images, the pictures you get when you're sleeping. But when you're dreaming, you're actually under the influence of a drug called DMT, dimethyltryptamine. So this DMT is what gives you these pictures. So you're actually buzzing while you're sleeping. But a dream, the word dream, the roots of it actually are to be happy. So to be dreaming is to be happy. So people chase their dreams, and when they're chasing their dreams, they're chasing what makes them happy. This is what chasing your dream is, and happiness is what a dream is. So in everything that we're doing it for that happiness. We're on the pursuit of happiness. So the word dream actually, the the dream has the root of meat, as in meat, eating meat. So this is what even in Ecclesiastes, this is what gives everybody happiness. Without food, you die. Without food, you're miserable. A hungry man is an angry man, as they say, because you need food in order to be happy, to be fulfilled. So happiness and fulfillment comes through that, through the meat. So this meat, the drinking, the eating, and all of that, that's actually the dream. So this is an interesting meaning of what the dream is. So these visions we see, they are what nourishes us. If you don't sleep, you die, because you need to nourish your body through sleep. So that is what you actually eat. So dream is DREAM, which has D and ream. So a ream just means a pile of stuff, just a lot of stuff, like a multitude, zillions, bazillions, trillions. So ream just means endlessness, like so much, multiple, endless. This is what it is. And ream is akin to seam. So seam means when two or three or more things meet. So this is when they meet, right? And remember, the dream is the meat, that meat we eat. So this is the seam. So the seams on a dress are where the two pieces meet. And in a dream, this is where your body and your soul meet. Your spirit and your body meet. And this is a state of happiness. And you know, when you're dreaming, whatever is happening is for your benefit. So this is actually the only happiness. And it's called a dream because in our life, there's so much bad stuff that happens. There's also some good stuff. But the only true good stuff that ever happens in life is in a dream. So happiness is a dream because it's not real. in terms of that. So this is why that is associated with the dream. So a dream is that. So a dream is happiness. A dream is ecstasy, the fantasy, whatever. And this is what we have, and that is what it actually is. So dreams are important, and for you to hold on to them is very important. So when you dream, you remember the dream is the ream, which is a lot of stuff. Like a heap is a ream. Like a ream of papers is a heap of papers, which just means a lot of papers. And this is where the seam comes. And when we have the seam, it means that these are just two things meeting. And this is the only place where you get to meet yourself. You get to seam into yourself. So everything in your dream seems real. Okay, so our world is made of words, so this is important. So in your dream, in his dream, everything seemed real, and you see that when he woke up, he actually thought it was actually happening. He thought it, because everything seems real. It's a dream. So it's the seam where things meet, where they mate, to mate, to meet, to eat. Because when you eat meat, you mate with it. So when he was dreaming, he thought that he was in this reality, this real world. Because when you dream, it's the seam, and you add a man, the seam man, seaman. All right, so I'm not gonna go into too much detail into that because I want to talk about wisdom. So the seam though is the sea man. So when you're dreaming, it's like you're drifting into the sea. You remember the ream is just a lot of stuff. The sea has a lot of stuff. Okay, so this is how you drift like a boat, and you drift into sleep. Like you drift into the dream. Like I just drifted into sleep because it's the seam, the seaman. So yeah. So there's more context to that. So Solomon drifted into the sleep. So he's in this place where he can get anything. This is the important part. This is why I was driving that point. That the ream is just a lot of stuff. You can get anything through your dreams. You can do anything in your dreams. So he was asked for anything in his dream, and then he apparently chose correctly. And this is where our journey starts into wisdom. And with Solomon, and he wrote the books and everything like that on wisdom. So yeah, he wrote the books on wisdom. Interesting. Yeah. So when he's actually being asked what he wants, he shows that he's already wise, because he doesn't ask for a fast car and a private jet with 2 pilots. What? But then he's like, no, you know what, God. In fact, check it out. He doesn't even ask for wisdom. He doesn't mention the word wisdom for what he asks. What he asks for are 2 things. He asks for understanding, which is innerstanding, which is overstanding, which is understanding, which is to know the full scope of things, to know the different angles of everything. He asks for understanding, and he asks for discernment. So these are the components of wisdom: discernment and understanding. So to discern, or to understand, is to, understand, overstand, outerstand, everything, right? And to discern is to which is to take apart, and cern, which is to see the sides. So to discern is to decide. So he asks for understanding and a mind that discerns, so that he's able to govern and judge the people. This is what he asks for. Then God is like, wow, wise kid, you passed the test. You know what? For that, I'm going to give you a long life, and I'm going to give you riches, wealth, and plenty, and all of those things. And he gets all of those things. So he gets a multitude. He gets a ream of things in his dream of life. And he gets that. So everything happens, and then he wakes up, and then he's like, oh, cool. And then he goes, and then he gives thanks. So it's important to notice that in the beginning of the dream, what had actually happened was when he was speaking to God, he first mentioned the people before him and gave thanks to his heritage, his inheritance. So he first spoke about his father. Like, hey, you did well for my father. This is the same method that even Jacob used, Moses used. You know, he was always mentioning his forefathers. Like, oh, thank you. I'm worshiping the God of my fathers. You know, the God of Jacob, Abraham, and Joseph. All of those, they actually mentioned the fathers. So this is what Solomon did. Like, oh yeah, thank you for having such a wise father and all of those things. So honor your parents so that your days might be increased. And after that, he goes and gives thanks through sacrifice, through giving a gift. So he gives a gift, which is very important, and that's exactly what he does. And this is what a king does. Abraham gave a gift to Melchizedek, and so this is important. So this is what he did, and he got wisdom. So what's key in this whole in this whole story is that the next morning when he woke up, he had a case to decide. So there were two women. I think one of them was pretty clever. So this woman was sleeping, and these two women both had kids, right? And then they went to sleep, and they are both prostitutes. So this woman, tricky little woman, like fell asleep so much, and then like she rolled over and crushed her baby. So imagine this is happening the same night that Solomon, was I saying Moses this whole time? All right, Solomon was having a dream in the realm, right? The realm. So this is the real me, the realm. This is where you see your real you, because that's the seam, right? So the dream is real because it's in a realm. A realm is a kingdom. So he was in God's kingdom. This is where he met God, and he asked God, and he got this from God, and he got everything. And at the same time, this woman was killing a baby in her dream. Like she was also sleeping, and she rolled over her baby and killed this baby in her dream. So this juxtaposition is interesting. So they come to Solomon, and then they ask the king, like, all right, so this is the case. Like, so this tricky woman slipped her dead baby into the other woman's arms and took the baby who was still alive and tried to keep it as hers. So you see that people always try to counterfeit and all of those things. So there's a lot of meat in that whole story, that a person tries to steal someone else's blessings, and all right, but then whatever trickery, because that is evil, right? Who steals a person's entire future? This is what the woman was trying to do by stealing this kid. So Solomon tells God, like, all right, yeah, give me the biggest sword y'all got. Let me slice this kid in half and let me make everybody happy here, okay? And then they actually get the sword, and the woman's looking like, what? You're gonna slice this kid in half? And then the tricky woman, the nasty woman, was like, all right, yeah, do it, yeah, so that we can both feel the pain, so that we can both suffer. And of course, we know the story that we discovered that the woman actually belonged to the woman was like, oh, all right, no, I'd rather let the kid live. I'd rather let this child live than to watch him get killed in front of me. So yeah, give it to that woman, you know. So this is how he was able to judge this matter and see that this is the real woman, and this tricky woman has to be killed and off her head, you know. So this is how he actually did it. And this happened after his dream. And actually, what is recorded after this judgment is that the people in the land discovered that, wow, this man is actually wise. So what had happened in the whole scenario that changed their perspective? This guy had already consolidated an entire kingdom. He'd already done so many things. So what is so important or so precious about this particular case? Well, a couple of things are interesting. In the first case, I think that the story of hearsay like he said, she said, no, she said, he said, no. It's a pretty tricky thing to decide, because that's why even a court case could take years, because the judgment will have to weigh everything in balance. So what's interesting here is the fact that before anything happened, Solomon said that, hey, get the sword. And they actually believed that Solomon was going to slice this baby in half. This is the first thing that is captivating about this. So their belief that Solomon was going to kill this kid actually means one of two things. Either that he's really stupid, that he believes that by slicing this baby, they're both going to have half a piece. This is the first assumption that they have. Like, wow, this guy is crazy. So he's going to slice this kid so that we can both have a piece of him. All right, cool, crazy dude, do it, right? That's one assumption. And the second assumption is that he's so cruel. Oh, how could he try to kill a kid? He knows that the kid can't survive if he's killed. So those are the two assumptions, okay? So in these two assumptions, he is asking the guards to take this sword and divide. And what he asks for in the dream is the power to take his mind. This is his sword, and divide. So this is the interesting bit, that he asked for discernment and understanding, and he asked the guard to divide, to discern, and to understand, and he was able to judge. And this is the beautiful revelation in this story, the beautiful particle in it. And the other thing is that sometimes what seems to be wisdom is sometimes perceived as stupidity. Sometimes a person who appears to be very, very stupid is very, very wise. Sometimes that is how it appears to be. This is why people believe that God doesn't exist, or if he does exist, then he's a dingbat, whatever, because that is what his wisdom is. So we don't know, because like I just can't fathom that this just came to be just like spaghetti on a wall. Like, oh, okay. But cause and effect. If I was caused by my parents, and I argue that since I can't see my parents, then I am a self-fulfilling man, I don't think that is what the nature of our universe is. If it were that, if that were the nature of our universe, that things just pop up, then yeah, cool. But in our nature, in our universe, everything has a cause and effect. So God is the cause. So the other thing that might be perceived as something else, like it could be wisdom. You could have wisdom, but people might perceive it as being brutality. So sometimes wisdom seems so strange, so mysterious, so out there, so weird. But then that is what wisdom is. So a lot of people are scared of wisdom because it seems to be something that is so dangerous. Like I think Solomon was someone who a lot of people were scared of because that is what wisdom appears to be. So it could appear that he wanted to cut the kid because he was so stupid, or he could appear that he wanted to cut the kid because he's just brutal. So this is what people also think about God the wise creator of the whole universe. They also believe that he's so evil because he ordered certain things to happen. So I don't know, it's up to his wisdom. And certain things are like that. Certain things might be like, all right, you beat your kid up not because you hate them, but because you love them. So these are the things that we actually battle with, especially in these days and times. So yeah, so just to wrap it up, so this is what we are referring to when we talk about dreams. Dreams are happiness, and this is why we're always chasing our dreams. The only time when we get to be happy and free is through the dream. The DREAM is also the DR something else, UG, the drug. So the dream is the drug, and row, row, row your boat gently down the stream, merrily, 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 merrily. Life is but a dream. Life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat. The dream, the ream, the sea, the seaman. You drift to sleep. You row the boat gently down the stream, and that's the dream. So it's very, very interesting. And through this dream, you get the ream, which is everything, plenty. So through your dreams, you have to understand that this is where your wisdom is. This is actually where everything is. You are in the realm, the real me. That is the realm. That's where you get to meet the real you. I meet the real me in my dream, and that is the kingdom, the kingdom, the kingdom, the kingdom. That's the realm. So guard your dreams, and what wisdom is the ability to understand and to discern. So he understood that, all right, obviously this woman is lying, and somehow, so he also was able to discern by deciding, by dividing. So this is how it works. So I just hope that you can get more wisdom and understanding, and in all things just peace and love, you know. Yeah. So thanks so much for watching this video, and just check out as a man thinketh, because everything that happens through wisdom is happening in the heart. So through your heart, this is where you get understanding. So he asked for understanding in his heart. So watch out as a man thinketh, and I have that link there. So just check it out, and yeah, enjoy. Thank you so much.